So today we're going to talk about the earned income tax credit, and we're going to talk about the specific ratings that were assigned today by the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities, I think is the name of the outfit. And we're going to talk about the Hillary Hoynes article in Pathways about changes in how the United States tries to help low-income families with children. How that changed over the decade from about 85 to 95. And that's the topic of your quiz, which you'll take on Tuesday. Again, just go on the Canvas and take it the same way you took the exam, but the quiz will be shorter. It'll just be 5 multiple choice questions related to what we talk about today and related to these two readings. All right? We'll still have class that day, and actually we'll start to talk about labor demand. So that's chapter 3 of the textbook. And before coming to class on Tuesday, there's a Freakonomics MP podcast called The Physician is Out, The Physician Assistant is In. So listen to that before coming to class. Then next Thursday, we're going to move a little faster now that we've gotten through labor supply. So the next topic will be labor market equilibrium, where we put labor demand and labor supply together. Again, labor demand we'll be able to do very quickly because it's really just review from what you already learned about input demand and factor demand in intermediate micro. So we'll put them together next Thursday, and there's a short article to read on Uber search pricing before that. And then I guess 2 weeks from today, or not 2 weeks from today, but a week from Tuesday, we'll go over problem set number 3. Okay, so that's what's going forward. Again, today we're going to talk about the earned income tax credit, but I just want to remind you the earned income tax credit is one way that the federal government tries to help families, low-income families, especially low-income families with children. Another way, last time we talked about problem set number 2, another way the federal government tries to help, and states try to help low-income families, especially those with children, is through more traditional cash assistance programs, welfare. And again, we talked about the shift in welfare programs, and we'll talk more about it today, from just trying to give money to single moms, essentially, so they can stay home with their kids, to assisting those families, but trying to encourage the moms to work. We talked about that shift. We'll talk about that more. But let me just remind you what we concluded from last time, that the welfare program, essentially, the way welfare programs work today is they change the budget line by adding this red area and this blue dot. Okay, so remember the way cash welfare programs work is there's what's called a guarantee, or what's your maximum benefit. What's the benefit you get if you don't work at all? That was $50 in our problem. And then there's usually an implicit tax on earnings, and that's the red line. Is I start with a welfare benefit of $50, but for every dollar I earn, my benefits go down a little bit. And in our problem, every dollar I earn, my benefits go down by 20 cents. And so, eventually, if I were to earn $250, and again, then my welfare benefit would go down by $50, by 1/5 of that, or 20%. And so, once I earned $250 in that case, then my welfare benefit went from $50 down to 0, and then I would go back to my regular budget line. All right? And what did we say last time about how the budget line shifting from here to here, is that going to encourage labor force participation or discourage it? Is it going to encourage the people in the relevant area who are affected by this budget line? Is it going to encourage them to work more or to work less? More. What's that? Which one? What was the answer? I didn't hear. Sorry. Work more? Work more? So, why would it encourage? They're going to work less, right? They're going to work less, both labor force participation is going to go down because the no work point's up here now, and we showed how the essentially, for two reasons. Essentially, for two reasons, I'm going to work less and be less likely to work. There's both the fact that, well, it used to be I earned $10 an hour. When I'm on welfare, I'm only really netting $8 an hour, because even though I get paid $10 an hour for work, for every hour I work, my welfare benefit's going to go down by $2. For every $10 I earn, my welfare benefit, so I'm really only getting to keep an extra $8 for every hour I work. So my effective wage has gone down. Yeah.
So you're not talking about a situation where if you start working and you feel more welfare, it's not a situation.
No, yeah, so what I should have been more explicit. Yeah, what I'm talking about is, say we didn't have a welfare program, and then now we added this welfare program. So is that when we go from no welfare program to the welfare program, would we expect labor force participation to go up or down? Would we expect hours of work to go up or down? And in general, we expect both to go down. Again, if we think about, now I'm richer because of this extra $50. If I draw what my reservation wage is going to be, it's going to be higher than it was before. And actually, we saw drawing the reservation wage, it's going to be higher than before. But the other thing is my net wage is lower than before because of the implicit tax in the welfare system. Okay? So that's going to discourage labor force participation. And then we saw, we drew the income and substitution effects for hours of work, where, say I was here before, well now, the substitution effect says work less because the net wage is lower. The income effect says work less because even if I stay here now, because now I'll receive welfare benefits at this amount, I'm richer than I was before. And we can write down the income, we can decompose the income and substitution effects, and we did that last time. All right, so that both effects, as long as leaders are normal good, are going to reinforce a decrease in labor supply. All right, so traditional welfare programs are going to discourage labor. That doesn't mean they're a bad thing. It's helping these families, but it's going to discourage labor supply by the affected families. All right? Okay, so now let's talk about a different way of helping poor families called the Earned Income Tax Credit. Okay? And I had you look at this article. So let's talk about the Earned Income Tax Credit. Let me switch to the document camera. All right, so here's the picture that was in the article. Okay, so this is what it looked like in 2019 for households with one child. Okay, and this is what it looks like for when there's only single parent households. So there's only one adult, one parent in the household. And if there's two parents in the household, then it expands to look like this. But what this is showing is, this is your income, this is how much money you've earned. These families don't have a lot of non-labor income typically. But so think of this as earnings. This is the family's income. And what this is showing at any given level of income, what's the subsidy they're going to get, what's the extra money they're going to get through this Earned Income Tax Credit. Okay? And in terms of the questions I asked you to think about, let's think about, and so so there's as I go from, let's say somebody earns $100, okay, and again, what the parameters, this is called the phase-in region, where the more I earn, actually my benefit's going up. Then when I get to the top of this pyramid, this is the plateau. And this is saying essentially if I earn anywhere between here and here, then I get the maximum benefit with just around $3,500 in 2019 for a family with one kid, okay? And then if If I start to earn more than this amount, then I'm in the phase-out region, where the more I earn, then my benefit goes down. Here it's getting taxed away, kind of like in the welfare program. Okay? And again, how big this plateau is going to vary a little bit depending on whether I'm just a single parent or whether there's two parents in that family. Okay? So, two-parent families can qualify for benefits at a little bit higher income level than one-parent families. All right, so let's focus on the one-parent families. And again, what this region has a slope of 0.34, positive 0.34. This region has a slope of 0, it's not changing. And then this region turns out to have a slope of almost negative 0.16. It's a little less than that, but just we'll round it to negative 0.16. All right? And if we, and the parameters come from we look at this table here in the back of these are all the parameters we need to know to figure out what things look like. This is saying the phase-in rate, that positive slope where my benefits keep going up the more I earn, the credit I get, the extra money I get goes up. That's going up a rate. For every dollar I earn, I'm getting an extra 34 cents in benefits. That's the 34%, 0.34. The phase-in region ends at $10,000 and 370. So that's saying that top of the pyramid is at 10,000. Once I earn 10,370, then my benefit is just going to be the maximum benefit, which turned out to be 3,526. Again, for a single family with one child in 2019. Then, if I earn anywhere between this 10,370 and the 1930, my credit is just going to be the same. It's 3,500. But then, once I earn more than this, my benefits are going to go down by 16 cents for every dollar I earn until they're completely exhausted, and that turns out to going to be when I earn a little more than $41,000. My benefits will be exhausted, and then I don't get the credit anymore. If I earn, any families, single families with one child that earn more than $40,094, they don't get any credit. Okay. What about families with no earnings? What's their credit going to be? The family doesn't earn anything at all. What's their credit going to be? It's going to be 0. Okay, so that's why this is the earned income tax credit. Remember, with the traditional welfare program, if I don't earn anything at all, that's the maximum benefit, and then my benefit goes down the more and more I earn until it gets to 0. With this, there's this phase-in region where actually my benefit, this is, and sometimes the EITC is said to help working poor families, because you have to work, you have to earn money to get this. And really what the EITC is, at least initially here in this phase-in region, it's a wage subsidy. A wage subsidy is where, say you earn $10 an hour, the government wants to encourage you to work, so they want to give you a higher wage. So a wage subsidy, for every the wage you earn, maybe the government gives you 20% more. So if I earn $10 an hour, the government's going to give me an extra $2, so I'm really earning $12 an hour. In this case, what's the effective wage? If somebody's earning $10 an hour, how much more is the government giving them? Yeah,
They're going to be $13.40.
That's right. They're going to get it at every 0.34, right? So if I'm earning $10, I get an extra $3.40, right? This is saying for every dollar I earn, I'm going to get 34 cents from the government for this credit when I'm along this range. So, so if I earn $10 an hour, the government's going to give me an extra $3.40, an extra 34% of that. And if I add those together, it's the $13.40. Or, in the questions that I wanted you to look at while you read, it says, what if the family had earned income of $100 in 2019? So what would if they had $100, if their income was $100, what would their EITC be? What would be the subsidy? The subsidy would be the $34. So their total income would be that sum of the two, $134. okay? And so incomes are going up and going up. And then the next question was, what if the family earned $15,000? So what if we had a family here that earned $15,000? What would be their EITC? What would be that extra amount they'd get? They would get the 3,500, right? 35, whatever it is. And then their total income would be the 15,000 plus the 3,500, so a little bit more than 18,500. I think this was 3,526 or something like that. Okay, so if they earn $15,000, they would get, let's say, 18,500. What if they earn $16,000? They would still get this of 3,500, so their net income would be 16 plus this, or it would be 19,500, right? So effectively, think about this portion here. What's the effective wage that if I'm earning $10 an hour from my employer, if my wage is $10 an hour, then we said before, for every $10 I earn, I'm getting an extra $3.40 from the government, so I'm really getting $13.40. And so in some sense, this 34 cents, this is adding to my wage. So my wage is really W times 1 plus 0.34, or it's 1.34 times my wage. So my wage is actually higher because of the program than it used to be if I'm in this region. What about if I'm in this region and I earn $10 an hour? What's the effective wage that I receive? If I earn another $10, how much does my total income go up, even taking into account the tax credit I did? $10. It goes up by $10, right? This is my effective wage is my wage here, right? Because for every dollar I earn, my income's going up by $1 because the credit isn't changing in this rate. I'm getting the same subsidy from the government, so whatever I earn, that's adding to my income. Okay? And then once I earn more than, I think it's 19,030 or something like that, then I'm in this region here. And when I'm in this region here, for every dollar I earn, now my tax credit is going down by 16 cents. Okay? So why do we have a phase-out region? Why not, so now, in some sense now my net wage is only 0.84 times my wage, right? It's like I'm being taxed 16 cents for every dollar I earn, right? Because every dollar I earn, I'm losing 16 cents in terms of my tax credit. Okay, so in this region, my wage is actually lower than it was. The program is making my wage lower than it was. In this region, the program is making my wage higher than it was. In this region, it's not changing my wage. Well, this is probably going to discourage. It's going to discourage labor supply, right? Or at least it's going to discourage people from working. We'll see how it affects labor supply. So why have a phase-out region? Why not just keep the phase-in region of 0.34? Or you could have the phase-in region and maybe it maxes out and then we go like that. Why have a phase-out region?
Because it's an expensive program and after a while you can just live off your wages.
Yeah, that's right. We were trying to help low-income families. If we don't have a phase-out region, then Bill Gates and Michael Dell are going to qualify for this. Okay, so we don't, we can't afford to give it to everybody. We're trying to give it to low-income families, low-wage. Okay, and what this program in particular is trying to do is trying to encourage, at least in this region, it's trying to encourage low-income families to work by making the returns to work higher than they would have been otherwise. Okay, so let's check on the time. Let's draw what the budget constraint looks like. Okay, what does the budget constraint look like because of this program? Here's a, this. Here's, and again, I'll draw an ugly picture here, but I've got nicer pictures that I'll show you and that are available on campus. Okay, let's start with a graph, okay? So we're going to draw how does that particular program that we just talked about In other words, this program here, fix this, sorry. Oh, wrong way. So we want to know, how does these parameters that we just talked about, that applies to a family with one child and a single, this is for a single family, a single parent, so a single mom with one child. How is this going to affect their budget constraint? Okay? So what's going to happen down here? So again, this is the budget line that I should have drawn in. This is the, the wage. This is for somebody with, we're going to say P equals 1, so we're just going to measure dollars on this axis. And Y equals 0. The family has no non-labor income. And again, the slope here is just going to be negative W. Okay, so what's going to happen initially? So without the welfare program, if I give up an hour of sleep or leisure and work an hour, then my wage is going to go up by W, so the slope here is going to be W. Once we think about the earned income tax credit, how much is my income going to go up when I work that first hour? Is it still going to be W, or is it going to be something else?
134W.
It's going to be 1.34 times W, right? This is going to be steeper, right? And this is the phase-in region. So this is going to be the slope equals 1 plus 0.34 times W, or 1.34 times W. And again, this is the phase-in region of the earned income tax credit. Okay? So, and when's that going to stop? When is that going to stop? Remember, according to this, when does the phase-in region stop? It stops after I earn $10,370. Okay? So it's going to stop. It's going to stop after I earn $10,370. Remember, this black line, that shows my earnings, right? That's the budget line that only reflects my earnings. The red line reflects my earnings plus the earned income tax credit that I'm getting. Okay? So when my earnings, when I work enough hours so that my earnings get to $10,370, then the phase-in region stops. And with the EITC, what's my total income going to be when I've earned $10,370? Well, if we go back to the table, I've earned $10,370. What else do I get? What do I get? What's going to be the EITC that I get? It's going to get the maximum credit of this 3,526, right? So my total income is going to be the sum of those two, which is going to be 10,896. Did I do that right? 13,000. Thank you. 13,000. So it's going to be 13,896. That's going to be this point here. Okay? Then, now I keep earning more. I'm earning more than 10,370. When I earn more than 10,370, like I'm earning 11,000 or 12,000 or $13,000, what's my maximum benefit going to be? It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. And what's the slope of this part of the new budget line going to look like?
The same as the original.
It's going to be parallel to here, right? Because now, here I was getting, my effective wage was higher because I was in the phase-in region, and my subsidy was going up with every dollar I earned. Now, my subsidy stays the same at that maximum credit. Remember, up at the top of that pyramid. So now, this is just going to be parallel. Okay, this is going to be the slope here. negative W, and this is gonna be the maximum benefit region. Again, there's a prettier version of this on canvas. Something's not clear. This is that plateau region. And so